I wonder if that fixed it. Okay, yeah, it did. Anyway, hello world and all who inhabit it. Heroku Scion here. And, well, it's been a while. For anyone that remembers me, I am a now former college student, technically college graduate now. And, um, well, a lot has happened. I gave up streaming for a good bit so that I could pursue my degree. One moment. I think that should be better. Anyway, I went away for a while because I wanted to pursue my degree. I wanted to just finish getting through college and not really having distractions for it, for me to, finish it with better grades than I ever had before. COVID really screwed me and everyone else up, obviously, but I didn't want that to be the case anymore. So I applied myself and got my degree. So you're looking at a somewhat freshly minted graduate from college that's pursuing streaming now for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just because, I want to do more. I finally got a job that is in my career field. My field is IT. Um, I wanted to do something more along with hardware, but now I got a networking job. Can't really go into too many details about that, but it's it's fine. Um, Not gonna lie, kinda regret going to college. Specifically because I feel like what I had learned in college could have been more or less learned through trade school. Don't get me wrong, colleges have their benefits. Colleges are also great places to meet people, make connections, and just be good places to just open your avenues on what you want to learn. You don't have to just go to college to learn one thing. You can go to college for a lot of things. But as time goes on and the internet grows as a place where we can just learn whatever the heck we want to, um, we don't really need colleges all that much anymore. When the internet is such a vast place of information that's publicly available and basically free for anyone that wants to know anything, really. So long as you can apply yourself and just try to find ways to improve and grow your knowledge base, I don't see why the internet's such a bad thing. Granted, there's also a lot of misinformation out there too that you gotta be careful of. But I think with enough experience, you can kind of navigate where some of that misinformation will lie and whatnot. Just a moment. But yeah, that's that. As for what I want to do going forward, um, while I'm doing this job, um, I want to start streaming more regularly for about 3 to 4 hours a day throughout most of the weekdays. this is just more impromptu until I can actually nail down what I really want to do. But for now, I just want to be open to whoever wants to listen and just talk about whatever, really. I don't really have a specific direction I want to take this channel with as of yet. Um, I guess for Twitch, I specifically want to be able to like schedule time slots to talk about tech, then certain time slots to talk about anime, manga, and then another time slot to play video games, be able to just have fun, rage sometimes, maybe. Um, I haven't been really one to rage out in frustration. I am more reserved in most cases on how I am frustrated, but I don't know. Maybe I just haven't found a game where I can rage yet. And then maybe I guess also give some good life tips. Um, like I don't know what would be a good life tip. Uh, hmm. I guess don't really stress too much about doing a good job on something you've never done before, or even if you've done it before, don't expect to be a master at it or just get it all at once. Because honestly, you're never gonna get it on the first try. Okay, sorry. The likelihood of you getting something on the first try is basically non existent. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that there's always room to grow. Even if you're a child prodigy, even if you're a prodigy that just nailed it in one go, there's always room to grow. There's always room for you to learn new things because the world is ever changing. Something will always pop up when you least expect it, for better or for worse. And you'll have to learn how to navigate that new avenue of whatever that knowledge base is. You'll have to get accustomed to the new norm that will be put in place when you find out about it. And, well, you'll have to learn and adapt. That's just how life is. That's how life has always been. That's how that's how humanity has learned and grown over the centuries and millennia that you know that humanity has existed. We're not hunter gatherers now that just roam the wilderness. We are now, well, hunters and gatherers, and also much more than that. We are builders, we are creators, we're awkward and unique people that can go any which way we want to if we want to produce something. That I guess brings me to the next topic. Don't don't put yourself down if you think you don't have a talent or you don't feel like you can do something right or you think you're dumb or whatever. Don't put yourself down. You you have a talent. Everyone has a talent. No matter what it is, no matter how dumb it might be, You guys have a talent. You just need to be able to just do random things and just try to find it, really. You need to be able to just try and experiment with hundreds of thousands of different things, no matter how practical, impractical, um, useful it is in day to day life, useless it is in day to day life, whatever the case may be. You guys have a talent. I don't know what it could be. You don't know what it could be. But when you find it, you'll know. Hopefully. Or someone will find out for you and tell you what it might be if you don't really notice it yourself. And well, who knows? The most useless of things could become useful in the most random of circumstances. Like, I don't know, the circumference of George Washington's face on Mount Rushmore might somehow come in handy if, say, one day George Washington's face just somehow collapses from the from Mount Rushmore because of a massive earthquake, and it just falls straight down, and there's hundreds or dozens of people trapped underneath George Washington's face. And your knowledge might help save those people from death. Just because you knew the circumference of George Washington's face and that might be able to help in finding out what specific areas need to be taken apart as to save those people without destroying the face itself and, accidentally killing them. It's really weird what knowledge you might possess and how it might be applied in real life. Um, I don't know what I could say about this that I know personally. Uh, um, shoot. It's hard to think of something on the spot. I mean, I know a lot of random pieces of information, but I don't know what exactly I could say right now that might be able to help. I mean, I know a thing or two about credit cards. Um, if you use credit cards, you know, sparingly or just don't go crazy with credit cards and be able to, at the very least, pay off a statement balance by the end of the month or even a minimum balance um, before, you know, you have to pay it off. You can avoid late fees and, um, just build your credit scores slowly over time because credit card lenders don't really think too much about, how much you spend under a certain limit. They just want to see if you're trustworthy with money. Granted, if you go over like I think it was like 5 or 10% of your total credit limit, then they worry about that because to credit card lenders and credit card companies, they think of you as an investment. They want to invest money into you because they want to also get money out of you. It seems predatory, but in most cases it's not, so long as you just, you know, don't go crazy with it. Granted, I know people use credit cards for a lot of important personal expenses, paying off bills, paying off student loan, etc. But um I'd say like just go try not to pay off too much of your whatever bill using your credit card. If you can't really afford to pay it off by the end of the month, um using your whatever money you have in the bank or whatever money you earn. It's I don't know, I'm not really too well versed in explaining things. Hell, I'm not really a financial expert of sorts. I'm just a random guy that likes technology, anime, video games, and just likes to help people. Um, however way I can, however which way I can. If you want me to hear your thoughts, just hear you out. If you're having a bad day and you just want to vomit out all your grievances, all your frustrations, I'll listen. I'll listen. I'll try to hear you out. I'll try to provide you with like possible ways to help you. I'm no licensed therapist. I'm not some guy with years of experiences that can help you out in life and however you want. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that I'll try to be your friend. I'll try to help you out. I'll hear you out. And sometimes that's all you really need. Sometimes you just need to have a friend that hears you out and just acts as an outlet for you to just spew out whatever is making you sick. Whatever is making you sick up here, if you're sick in here, in your heart, um, I'll be there. I I don't really judge too much. I judge a little, sure, but like it's all in a place of caring. Don't really I don't really have an opinion on a lot of things. I just want to help. I don't know what more to say than that. Um, what else? Uh, Anime, I guess. I'm not really what you would call a weeb. I have watched anime back when I was a kid. I watched anime. I got bullied for it a bit growing up. You know, back when anime wasn't that popular still. Um, I'm really glad it's blown up. That it's as popular as it is now. Surprisingly, COVID had a lot to do with it, but you know, I'm just glad there's a lot more fans out there that appreciate the medium of anime and manga. Um, I'm glad that people are finding out about uh, their appreciation to art in general. That they aren't downplaying the arts as much as they used to. Um, that gaming itself is becoming less and less taboo as well, especially with Call of Duty and Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto being as popular as they are nowadays. Um, just bringing everyone that you know used to bully people about being gamers and whatnot and having no life. Um, you know, just lessening that whole stigma as a whole. Granted, there's still adults out there that will just say that all this stuff is just horrible. It shouldn't be done. You should be outside, having fun, getting a life. That the friends you make while gaming or online, they're not real friends. Um, don't listen to them. Granted, okay, always be caution. Always have caution. Always be cautious of who you talk to, because you never know who might be, online. That applies to real life. That applies everywhere. Just be careful. Be courteous. Don't be a jerk. Life is already terrible as it is. Why do you have to, be a jerk online too? Now, granted, having fun and being a jerk with your friends, I'm not gonna say anything against that. If it's all in good fun and you're all in on it and you're just all assholes to each other, and by the end of the day you can just laugh it off. That's not an asshole. That's just you having your own quote unquote love language with all your friends. If you all have that same energy with each other every once in a while, like, I don't think anyone's gonna be really that mad. Now, granted, anyone hearing that outside of context might have something to say, but just within the friend group, if everyone is okay with it, I don't see anything wrong with it. But just be careful not taking it too far. You never know when things might go south because of a certain event that might have happened without you knowing about it. Um, yeah. What else to talk about? Um, I guess getting back to the topic of anime. Oh man, I really diverged from that. Um, yeah. Shoot. Uh, what have I been watching recently? The latest episode of Mushoto Tensei. Tensei? Tensei? Tensei. Mushoto. Ugh, why can't I say it properly? Mushoto Tensei, or Jobless Reincarnation, dropped. I've been loving the season so far, or I guess the second half of this season, of the second season. The second half of the second season, I have been enjoying. Um, and I I just love the show in general. Going from a closet, or not really closet weeb, but like a neat, someone who doesn't have a job, doesn't participate in society, shut shut himself off from the entire world. Kind of had very good reason for it, like all that, but like still, um, very terrible situation. Then suddenly dying one day by getting run over, and then reincarnating into a new world where he learns magic and stuff, and just like recreates his life in this new world. Um, Honestly, I really didn't have high hopes for it. I'd never read the light novel, didn't hear much about it beforehand. All I heard was that it was like one of the first isekai stories out there, and I was to say that I was like blown away after like 3 episodes was kind of an understatement. Um, each episode has its own unique opening in the first season and in the first part of the second season. Um, It was surprisingly engaging. You really wanted to root for the main character, just getting better in terms of both his power set and just in character in general. He was learning about life, learning about himself, becoming a better person than he used to be back in his old life. Just, without getting too much into spoiler territory, it's a good watch. Granted, okay, if you're not into certain perverted topics, um, just be aware of that. It's not a huge focus, but it's there, and it is it's there for a little bit. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's there for a little bit, and you will be reminded of it every now and again. But it's not a huge focus. Okay, trust me. The story as a whole is a lot better than just fan service. Um, Surprisingly, there's not even that much of it in the grand scheme of things. Um, but yeah, like unlike Fire Force, if you've heard of that. Oh, there's specifically this one gag character in Fire Force that her whole thing is just fan service for the sake of fan service, and it's not good. The story itself, the show itself, is actually pretty good. Um, just that one character, I don't think anyone really truly likes, because she's just annoying as hell. She has her moments, but overall, you remember her for the annoying fan service scenes, and it, it's really bad, to tell you the truth. I haven't seen the entire thing myself, but like, that's the general consensus, apparently. What else besides that? There was a new season of Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy. Uh, Basic premise. There's this one guy that gets summoned to a new world, so technically an isekai, but didn't get reincarnated or anything like that. He was summoned by a goddess who kind of screwed him over. Not gonna lie. Um, and now he's just trying to live his life and be the best that he can be, while just living his life. And my man, Tsukiyomi, the moon god, uh, gives him some power that was apparently always his. He just unsealed it, and, you know, he just grows exponentially stronger just because he had this latent power or latent ability to just grow. Um, he trains. Doesn't really train much. It's more about him interacting with the world than anything else. And he's not really that much of a Mary Sue, or I guess in this case Gary Stu. He just, lives his life and tries to do his best living in this new world. And just shit going wrong every which way because he's just living his life. And people just don't want that for him, or just, you know, other circumstances are just preventing that from happening. It's a good show. I'd give it a watch if I were you. but that's just me. Um, what else? Oh, Go Loser Ranger. I what can I say about this show? Um, reminds me a bit of Shield Hero a little bit. Uh, what exactly are you referring to? Are you referring to Tsukimichi, the Moonlit Fantasy? Ah, yeah, I bet. I can see that. Shield Hero. Um, story of a guy that technically is the only one that didn't die. Uh, okay, sorry, that's a bit of a spoiler. He gets summoned to another different world. Um, and he joins forces with three other heroes. Kinda, yeah, no. Gets screwed over from the jump because he's different. Um, what else? Then he goes through all this shit one after another, especially after an accusation that I'm not gonna say because one, it's triggering, and two, it's basically the biggest, um, biggest and best uh plot point in his early development. Like, it's kind of sad that it's the highest point of the story that had to happen, and then it just kind of drops off after it because we get the comeuppance a bit. Man, I don't know how to say this without spoiling it for anyone watching, or I guess hasn't watched. But yeah, no, I get it. Um, but yeah, Shield Hero and Moonlit Fantasy, great shows to watch. Um, yeah, just give them a watch. I don't know what else to say. To that, go to a loser ranger. Um, think one day Power Rangers happened, but after a year of fighting, the Power Rangers won, and then the monsters, the trash tier mobs that are left, are forced to work for the Rangers to make the show, the Power Rangers show. That's the basic premise of Go to a Loser Ranger. And then one day they just try to rebel. That's the basic plot. And it is getting good now. It's 3 episodes in, and wow, I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely got me hooked now. I give things the usual 3 episodes to get me hooked, and this third episode definitely got me interested to watch further. I'm assuming that eventually the monsters will kind of slowly overtake the Rangers. That's my um hypothesis. That's my theory on this. And I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Then there's One Piece and the Egghead Island arc. Not much to say there. It's One Piece. One Piece is great. Just really hate the 10-minute intros. The 10-minute recap intros because like the only way they have um these weekly episodes is because they only animate for the most part 1 to 2 chapters per episode. hell, even if that, sometimes it's just a whole recap episode of the entire arc thus far. I think Wano had maybe 7 of them, and then like another 3 for flashback specifically. It was it was bad. Um, yeah, like One Piece for how well and amazing the story is. I don't know. I think it'd do better as a seasonal anime. If I'm gonna be honest, like just let the arc finish and then animate the arc. I We should let One Piece get 2 arcs ahead and then animate 1 arc. I feel like that's how they should be. They should be doing it. I don't know. Because like that way, they keep One Piece alive in terms of the anime by having it set one time each season. But I guess the only trade-off would be that it take forever to complete an arc. That's what Studio What they made. Maybe we might be getting One Piece Kai. I genuinely think it's just gonna be One Piece Kai, where all they do is just get rid of the 10-minute intros and splice everything together. I wouldn't have any qualms about that. It'd be great. It'd be doing what Dragon Ball did and just got rid of most of the filler. And it kept all the important and or just fun filler. But yeah, One Piece. Um, really enjoying Egghead. Haven't caught up with the manga yet, but I don't know. I know the manga is great. I don't want to keep up with it because then I have to wait for weekly updates on the manga. I already tried to keep up with Wano and just fell off because not that it's bad, but because I I don't know, I didn't like One Piece's paneling specifically. It's especially with Wano. Wano, I think another creator called Totally Not Mark said it best. Wano's like whole mapping structure of um Onigashima was just all over the place because you had way too much going on at the same time, and there was so many people on different sections of Onigashima Island that you had to keep track of at all points in time, and it just got too like there was just way too much. I don't know what else to say than that. It was great when you focused on one person, but when you had to keep track of all these moving parts, I don't know how Oda did it. I don't know how Oda managed to keep everything on track, but for the reader, I'd say that just it was just a bit overwhelming. I don't know what else to say other than that. Um, I feel like Egghead Island is a lot better, but Onigashima specifically from Wano just made me pull back from the manga and just enjoy the anime, especially when Gear 5 hit. I am I am glad that I was not spoiled on Gear 5. Okay? Gear 5, Gear 5th, whatever you want to call it. Um I I was hearing a lot of things. I was hearing a lot of chatter, but I was not paying attention to it. It was all noise to me at the time because I was just hearing, "Oh, did you hear about this or this?" It was just people gushing about a new transformation. I knew there was gonna be something beyond Gear 4. I knew Gear 5 was gonna be a thing. I called it back on Whole Jade Island. Back when Snake Man hadn't even appeared yet. Even in the manga. I knew Gear 5 was gonna be a thing. I knew it back in 2018. Or 2017. One of the two. Before the Luffy and Kataguri fight round 2 or 3 got animated. Yeah, I knew Gear 5 was just somewhere on the horizon. I just didn't know when. I didn't know that was gonna be his end game transformation. So yeah, I'll admit to that. But like Gear 5 just seemed way too obvious. And also, I could never have imagined that um, the rubber powers that Luffy had were more of just powers of imagination that he can shape whatever he wants to his will or whim. Yeah, that was great. The Lucci versus Luffy round 2, Chef's Kiss. Just didn't really care for the egghead himself talking too much. Vegapunk just over narrating too much. Uh, what else? At this point, Luffy's a borderline reality break. I wouldn't say reality breaker. He's still, within the bounds of reality. It's not like he's breaking the fourth wall altogether and like literally just doing what Looney Tunes had done on occasion, just like gone into the writer's room or the storyboard artist like panel and just like alter reality itself. He can just manipulate not reality. Um he can manipulate everything around him to his whim. But he I don't think he can actually truly manipulate people. I know he can make everything, tune force, but hmm. And also he can kind of create. He made those goggles too against Lucci. I was that technology. I know they're goggles, but like, I don't think Luffy can just make tech out of nothing. Um, I don't know, but yeah, like he can manipulate everything to be rubber or whatever, but I don't think he can just like say, "Oh, that is just from a building that was 20 stories high to just say that's a rubber duck and that's 20 stories high." I don't think he can just do that. He might be able to shape it into a rubber duck, but he can't just go saying it or anything like that. I don't even think that Nico was that strong. I still kind of have to say that Luffy is technically, by the standards of how power scaling works in comparison to the other big three, that he is the weakest. Just off the basis that Luffy and everyone have to kind of scale to how people work on Earth, on their Earth, and then Naruto technically cut the moon in half, which I also have to say that did he release Kaguya by doing that? Like that was canon. Him cutting the moon was canon because of the final Naruto movie. So either he killed Kaguya by accident, or Kaguya left the seal because he cut the moon in half. Or somehow, for some reason, Naruto cutting the moon in half does not affect the seal, which doesn't make sense. But at the same time, what the hell? Why wouldn't that happen? Right? Am I just crazy? I feel like that should be the case. I feel like Kaguya should be released, or at the very least, Naruto should have a karma marking like Boruto, but instead of it being Momoshiki, it's Kaguya. Right? Isn't that how it should work? If that worked for Boruto? I don't know. I honestly, if it were me, I would have, in order to make the fourth Ninja War work as it should have and be like the penultimate thing for Naruto, I would have saved Kaguya, if I'm gonna be honest. I'd have saved Kaguya for the final Naruto movie. Or hell, I would have saved Kaguya for Boruto. At the very least. Save Kaguya for Boruto. Have the Sage of Six Paths be introduced to beat Madara. Then have the whole moon bullshit happen. And have the explanation of the basis of introduction for Kaguya and the Otsutsuki. Then from there, have Boruto explain the Otsutsuki even more in greater detail. Show that Kaguya wasn't to be messed around with, and she was sealed for a reason because um, Naruto and Sasuke would barely be able to beat her, even when adults, which would accurately power scale everything. And then when Jigen comes in, or sorry, no, when Momoshiki comes in, they're just barely able to beat him, but because of the scientists, they come in and screw everything up. So then Boruto comes in and steals the kill. I feel like that should have been it. That would have been somewhat more justifiable than Naruto just giving the win to Boruto. If Naruto and Sasuke distracted Momoshiki enough that Boruto came around and was somehow able to throw a uh, invisible Rasengan to Momoshiki's back, killing him, that would have been better. That would have been so much better. Because that way, Boruto would have actually gotten a victory that he earned. If that makes sense. Then the whole Momoshiki thing would have been explained. Since Kage wasn't killed, that explains why Naruto or Sasuke didn't get the karma marking. Then Momoshiki would be a good place to explain who the Otsutsuki were in greater detail and explain that there should have been one more Otsutsuki if they came in pairs. That if Kaguya was here, where the hell was Jigen this entire time? And then cuts to Jigen, essentially reincarnating himself into different bodies, or I guess transferring himself into different bodies throughout the generations. Then making the Jigen versus Naruto and Sasuke fight um be even more climactic, as he's the last one of the original Otsutsuki that survived, that lasted to the modern day, that Naruto and Sasuke would also fall in some regard. I don't know. I feel I'm just trying to make Boruto actually make sense here, because as a story, it's not bad. It's average at best. Okay, Boruto is not bad. It's only bad if you think of it as a Naruto sequel. Okay, I'm just to be fair right here. I'm gonna make a lot of enemies. Boruto is not bad. It's just average at best, and just boring as hell at worst. Well, no, okay, it has a lot of plot holes. I won't lie, but like, come on, you gotta see where I'm coming from here. Uh, but yeah, going back on topic, Luffy, technically the weakest of the big three of One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. Naruto is only above him because he can destroy a moon. Technically, I know Luffy has powers to warp anything around him. Technically, he can bounce back any attack that comes towards him, but that's only if he can actually withstand that blast or power or whatever is coming towards him. Um, what else? And then Ichigo, uh, I'm pretty sure that's actually a lot straightforward than anything else. Um, let's see, Yamamoto was able to basically burn the entirety of all the moisture in the air, in the entire Soul Society. So basically, the entire dimension that is the Soul Society could have just evaporated because of his Bankai. Um, then you have the Zero Division, who are above Yamamoto, that one of their Bankais alone could have, or yeah, would shake the entirety of all three reality, or all three dimensions of Soul Society, Earth, and Hueco Mundo all at the same time. So, and that's just one of them. There's four of them. If all four of them let loose, they could have just shattered reality as a whole. If they were able to let loose all at the same time, they wouldn't have any reason to lose. They had to purposely kill themselves just so one of them could succeed. The anime did it so much better than the manga. God damn. Ugh. I don't know what else to say beyond that. Ichigo apparently surpassed them by facing Aizen, who, after killing the Soul King and absorbing his power, um, basically surpassed the Zero Division in its entirety. So, but like, technically speaking, Ichigo didn't really kill Aizen one on one. And in fact, technically, his son stole the win in the future. Like, technically, Ichigo did secure the kill in his time, but then Aizen skipped ahead to the future where um Ichigo's kid technically also killed him. So I'm really confused about that. Um, Spoilers for uh, Bleach. The ending of the Thousand Year Blood War arc. I'm sorry for anyone who hasn't seen that yet or hasn't read the manga. Um, it's it's a 7-year old, I believe, ending. So, my bad, but I'd say still watch it because it's just if the hype for it has been if it keeps getting hype, like more hype, and since I believe this is the last part of the Thousand Year Blood War that's being animated, it's gonna be more hype. It's gonna be the hype. I'd say still watch it. There might be parts of it that might get changed for the better, so just give it a go. Whatever I might say might not happen as it is. Um, yeah, just watch it. I don't know what else to say beyond that. For that part, just watch it. It's really good. Um, Still hoping for that Naruto remake, that 4 episode Naruto um original series to be remade and remastered or whatever the case was. I really want to see Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach to come out at the same time. I want to feel like a kid again, okay? I miss that time. I miss the time when all three came out and I could watch all three. Granted, I didn't watch One Piece that much at the time. I barely watched it. I think I only saw bits and pieces of One Piece when I was a kid. And didn't get really invested into One Piece until Dressrosa. Um, but let's be honest here. All the best shit happens. Okay. Really hot take here, like the hottest of takes. Okay, don't at me on this. Um, I've seen the East Blue. Okay, I know what happens. It's sad as hell for certain parts, but like all of the best shit in One Piece happens after they pass the Grand Line. Like, you believe me on this. If you literally just think about it, all the best shit of One Piece has happened past the Grand Line. Ace's death, specifically Ace's death, the war against the Marines, um, Dressrosa, um, Big Mom, Kaido, the new Egghead Island arc. So much shit has happened past the Grand Line. Okay? It's a hot take, I know. And it was a lot more emotionally driven in East Blue. But, like, come on, you can't blame me for saying stuff like this. You can't entirely blame me. Okay? That's just me. That's just me spewing out my take. Alright? You can clip this if you want. You can just. I want to see how many people actually agree with me on this. I genuinely want to see how many people agree with me on this. I don't know, man. Shit, I lost viewers because of this take. Damn, people couldn't handle the truth. Oh man. Anyway, but yeah, power scaling if everything were equal, the powers were 1-to-1. Hockey and devil fruits were equal to chakra, which were equal to um, what was it? I forget what the um power was called in uh Bleach, but like if everything were to be equal and nothing really conflicted with something else, Luffy is the weakest. Naruto is after him in strength, and or sorry, Ichigo is the strongest. Then it's Naruto. Then it's Luffy. In that order, for the big three, um, I've made my case as to why, and I don't know. Just want to hear your thoughts. Uh, what do you think on that? Uh, as for if anyone wants to hear, what if they how they compare against Goku, uh, I'm gonna be real with you. I I love Goku. Okay, I love Goku. I hate this debate because everyone wants to compare Goku as he is currently to, you know, Naruto, Luffy, all fiction. And I get it, okay? Goku loves to fight. We want to see him fight all these different people. I get it. We want. Death Battle never helped. That Death Battle only made this debate so much worse on so many levels because now we all want to see them in a fight to the death. Um, more like without any morals holding them back. It's it's I don't know. It's a bit cringe, okay? Now, if you want to say, oh, would this Goku in this point in time with this skill set be able to beat Naruto as at his match power, or would Kid Goku um at the very beginning of Dragon Ball without having met anyone, without even met Bulma? He didn't meet Bulma yet, okay? We're talking about Goku fresh after killing Grandpa Johan. When we first see him in Dragon Ball, would he be able to beat Naruto? Would he be able to beat Kid Naruto? Um, let's say in the Chunin exams, would Kid Goku be able to beat Naruto in the first Chunin exam he ever took place in? You know, counting the filler Chunin exams that he took place in Naruto Shippuden. That's a debate. That is a very clear debate because that's taking into account Goku's strength at that point in time, which was, I believe, being able to um punch a log, punch a large section of wood or a tree trunk into uniform pieces. He could punch a pterodactyl out of the sky. And that's just him punching. Granted, he had the power pole to like lift him up, but like that's still him just punching a pterodactyl out of the sky. A massive one at that. Um, well, I guess massive for his size. What else? He could lift a tortoise on his back, but then again, that's not really saying much since he lifted a car relatively easily. Um Coaches it lifts and sends someone like Gamabunta flying. See, okay, here's the thing. I don't think he could. I don't think Kid Goku, fresh out of Dragon Ball, or like fresh out of the first like minute of Dragon Ball, would be able to lift Gamabunta. Like, that's too heavy. I think right after Roshi's training, right after training with Master Roshi and Krillin, when they could move those giant mountain esque, like rock formations, that's when he might be able to like start to lift Gamabunta. Otherwise, no. But yeah, like Kid Goku at the time, his fighting style was unrefined. He did have a lot of raw strength, but he didn't really know what to do with it. He wasn't that skilled in martial arts. He barely knew how to fight, relatively speaking. He knew how to fight, he just didn't know martial arts in its entirety because he kind of accidentally killed Grandpa Gohan before he could teach him how to fight properly, if that makes sense. Um, so Naruto would technically have the edge because not only does he have Shadow Clone, but I believe he would have had Rasengan at the time, if memory serves me right. Uh, hmm. I don't know. Okay, so the Gamabunta argument. So let's say we scaled Goku up slightly to Master Roshi training, and no, he got the Rasengan after the tuning exam. Okay, like when he was looking. Okay. Sorry, it's been a long time since I watched Naruto, the original series. Um, yeah. Okay, so Rasengan was after the tuning exam, so his best attack was multi Shadow Clone Jutsu times 100 or 1,000 or whatever the number was, and um summoning jutsu. Summoning jutsu was ultimate ace in the hole when Kurama was not involved. Okay, so yeah, no, Kid Goku right in the start of Dragon Ball would not stand a chance. Goku, um, after Roshi's training, let's say, um, given the benefit of the doubt, um, actually, no, wait. Technically speaking, Goku, straight out of Dragon Ball, first like 4 or 5 minutes, might be able to take the win just because he can turn. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase this. Goku, beginning of Dragon Ball, first 10 minutes, only under the full moon when he turns into Ozaru, could technically edge out the win if Naruto or Damamuta don't notice the tail weakness. That might be the only way Goku wins. Otherwise, Naruto takes the win. Uh, what else? If it were the first tournament, the 23rd Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi, uh, I think Goku wouldn't win because not only is he more refined in his fighting style, but also he turned into a great ape at the time, and he'd be a lot more powerful because of the 10 times power boost, and also I think he might be able to fire beams at the time too, if he could, if he wanted to. Only downside is that he would be a wild beast, and um, Naruto could still exploit the tail. Naruto and Jabunta could exploit the tail and still cut it off, but they just have a harder time doing so because um, he's just that much stronger now. But a 1v1 versus Naruto and Goku, hard to say. It would depend on how Naruto would outsmart Goku into using a lot more of his energy. But then Naruto has to um just keep up with Goku's speed too. And there's also that weird moment where Naruto and Gamabunta transform into Kurama. What? What? Give me a sec. What? Um, I don't remember this. Okay, I mean, I kind of do, but like, I don't. What? What? I'm looking up right now. Okay, he's against Dora. Summon Gamamunten against Shutaku. Um, okay. Recognize Gamamunten recognizes Naruto. Uh, Dora essentially releases himself to Shutaku. Uh, I'm just trying to skip ahead to the part right now. What the what? Okay, going back a bit. We got fangs and claws, What the fuck? What? How do I not remember this? What? Okay. Okay. So they temporarily summon somehow Kurama by transforming into him. What? How does that work? What? Okay. Let me think about this for a second. If that's the case, then they technically have the speed advantage. Um, then it just comes down to like how resilient Goku would be. But again, this just comes down to like, can they just cut his tail? Because at that point in time, there might just be a stalemate. Maybe Goku might have the advantage in strength, but then with that whole Kurama transformation they did, they might be able to just edge out a draw at the very least if they don't cut the tail off. Ah, huh. Yeah, no, like cutting that tail off would like net them the win for sure. But at the very least, they would end up in a draw if they could wait out the moon or just knock him out. But by knocking him out, I'm pretty sure that would also expend literally all of Naruto's power in order to, knock him out. So like, I'm just trying to make sure this actually makes sense here. Huh. This is an interesting debate. See, and this is what I mean. This debate of Goku versus Naruto is a lot better than um Goku with Ultra Instinct and Kaioken or whatever on top. Is can he beat whomever with all their powers? There's already like one character from an anime, I forget what it was, but like he basically solos all of fiction potentially just because he can retcon anything. His power was literally retconning reality. With that in mind, then there's also Saint Seiya. Sailor Moon technically can win against Goku. Um, wrap your head around that. Who else? It's like you gotta understand, Goku's not the strongest in his own world, in his own universe, in his own series. He's not the strongest, and for all intents and purposes, he will never be the strongest because that's just not how Goku works. He wants to be strong. He doesn't want to be the strongest though, because once he's the strongest, what else is he gonna do? He might as well just die at that point. Because at least when he dies, he'll have a lot more challenges in heaven or hell or wherever. Um, and I think that's kind of also why Daima's going to exist soon too, because well, Goku's kind of getting too strong. They're all getting too strong. They need to reset the power scales. Giorno, Johnny, Darby, Gappy, they all have respective villains that are. Yeah, yeah. I don't know about Giorno. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. Uh, they have the ability to like basically trap him in whatever, but in terms of raw power, I don't think they could really do anything. I know, I know Giorno with Golden Experience Requiem could trap him in the time loop, could you know, reverse time to alter reality to however he wants it to be. Uh, but that's only if, you know, he could actually hit him. By which I mean, he can hit him. I don't think he can actually do any damage to him. He'd just be stuck in an infinite time loop. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people in JoJo that can do stuff to Goku that can, technically net them the win. So like Sticky Fingers, or I guess Zipper Man, the Zipper ability. I It's been too long since I've seen JoJo. I don't remember all. I never remembered all of the stand names. I can name off the abilities. Killer Queen. Killer Queen might actually, technically, net him the win against Goku if he can land a finger on Goku. Get what I'm saying? He could turn Goku into a bomb that he, implodes. That much I can agree with. But only if he can touch him. And then Kira technically dying and by himself to, try to reverse that. Kira and by extension Killer Queen could never touch Goku with no matter how much prep time. Unless they caught Goku off guard. Which, I mean, Super might be able to, because he's just off guard all the time, and that was the whole point of Ultra Instinct. But even then, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that. But like, I hate stupid Super Goku with a passion. He was so much smarter in Z. Why do they have to dumb him down? You know. But anyways, that's besides the point. Um, if anyone from JoJo with a broken ability could touch Goku, Goku would be dead. But that's only if they could actually do anything against Goku. Killer Queen might have the easiest time with Goku. Only if Killer Queen could actually touch Goku and turn him into a bomb. The remote detonating bomb wouldn't do a thing against Goku. Killer Queen punching Goku wouldn't do anything against Goku. The remote bomb bubble wouldn't do anything against Goku. The only possible way to kill Goku with Killer Queen would be to specifically catch him unawares somehow. That's kinda it. Golden Experience Requiem, Time Loop. That's kinda it. The punches won't really do anything against Goku. Same with the World and Star Platinum. They're punchy boys. They punch well. They punch good. That's kinda it. They can stop time. But they're not gonna do anything against Goku. Because they can't really do anything against Goku. Their punches shatter buildings. I think that's kind of their extent. Tossed at 4 and its infinite spin. I'm assuming that's after part 6, Stone Ocean. With the whole reality reset. I have not gotten that far in JoJo, but I'm not too worried about spoilers. Yeah. Let me see. See, okay, and this is why I would consider myself a true fan of Dragon Ball, because I am not um a Goku fanboy. I am just a guy that can make logical decisions, and while I do love Goku, I know that he is not invincible. Invincible is not invincible. Okay? That was the whole joke. Anyway, Tusk Act for infinite rotation. Tuscat 4. Okay, let me actually. Uh, Let me actually pull this up. Uh, why isn't it working? It should be working. Why isn't it working? Give me a second. Shut something. It's not powered on. Why aren't you powered on? Okay, that's just not gonna work. Uh, oh, don't tell me my camera also. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Damn it. Okay, back. Still wrong. Okay. So Stat 4 embodies the infinite. I'm looking at the JoJo wiki, just to be clear. Taskcat 4 embodies infinite energy, rotation, golden spin, and is able to deploy in various ways, following the principle of golden spin. The energy wielded by Task 4 at Taskcat 4 is infinite, along with a wide array of impossible feats. First abilities displayed by Taskcat 4 is to be able to break through the dimensional barrier of D4C Love Train and enters the space in which Valentine hides. Moreover, Tuscat 4 defies the law of gravity, therefore can move slightly and probably still influence Diego during the stop time. The damage caused by the rotation is stated to be probably infinite as well, like Act 2 and 3. The energy of the spin can persist inside objects even if Johnny misses a nail shot and can be redirected towards a target. If Act 4 touches somebody, it imbues the target with infinite spinning motion. Not only does part of the body separate to spin, everything down to the individual cells spin on themselves, greatly distorting the shape of the victim, eventually the targets are disintegrated by the rotation, and according to Diego, sent to another dimension. The spin goes on forever and never leaves the person or their stand, forcing them to return to the place where they were hit or its equivalent in each parallel dimension. Thus, Funny Valentine was not able to escape it despite switching dimensions and or bodies, always returning to the underground location in which it was hit. If someone uses a tool like a carriage to get away from the location, the spin will imbue himself to the tool and destroy it, forcing the target back into the location. The rotation won't end unless Johnny shoots the target with a similar rotation that is spinning in the opposite direction, resulting in the two of them canceling each other out. Tuscat 4 can also apply the spin's energy more similarly to its previous forms and directly open a large space where there was none, as was shown in Johnny's battle with Diego Brando, during which the stand physically tears open a hole through the ground and enters the sewers with his horse. The spin is also transferable between objects, as the parallel world Diego cut off his leg through it to Johnny, transferring the infinite energy rotation to its user. Another example is when Funny Valentine went to a passing car, trying to escape from Tusk. Infinite rotation destroyed the car near instantaneously, and returned to Valentine. Okay, with that being said, um, okay, gonna be honest here. Yeah, um, for all intents and purposes, Goku be fucked. Act for infinite rotation. If it was just destroying dimensional barriers, If it was just that, I would have said Goku could tank it. But the fact that it is an infinite motion and basically whatever it touches is just going to be spinning forever in one direction, like warping whatever it touches to basically infinity and beyond, for lack of a better term. Yeah, no, Goku is fucked. Yeah, no, I can't deny it. I was gonna say maybe Super Saiyan Blue could potentially overpower this, but no. No. The dimensional barrier thing? Blue. Anything beyond that? No. Uh, yeah. No, Goku does not win here. Uh, a JoJo character has defeated Goku here. Um, the Zippers. The Zippers could defeat Goku. Couldn't kill him, but they could definitely beat him. Uh, if Goku just, didn't think too much of it and just let a zipper, or a couple zippers get on him, the zippers could just make him into a pile of body parts. And while technically he is still alive, he. Okay, there might actually be a way for Goku to somehow win if he got turned into a pile of body parts because of Zipperman. And that is if he can somehow channel his ki through his body parts to levitate and um basically come back together and form a pseudo body using the ki as like essentially strings to connect his body parts to one another. But considering the fact that that would just basically be a bullshit ass pull out of the sheer moment, and that Goku would have to somehow be a master, like full 360-degree rotation fighting for each body part individually. That's kind of asking a lot. Goku's a great fighter. I don't think he can learn that at the in the spur of the moment. Ultra Instinct himself, granted, yes, he was training towards that. And he basically mastered it within 10, 20 minutes out of the 3 times he used it. He still had to work towards it till he actually used it outside of that battle. He only learned in the spur of the moment. This is kind of bullshit that I can't stand. That no, he's not winning against Zipperman. He's not winning against Zippers. He loses against Zippers if he gets zipped off. If his body part gets zipped, he's not winning. The zips win. For, lack of a better term, the zips win. Um, what else? This is fun. I'm having fun here. What else do you think? And before you say Atos is not gonna win, Atos does not. Atos Act 4 cannot produce enough gravity to overpower Goku. Goku already overpowered a black hole, technically, in the shape of a heart. Yeah, no, he's not. Although, no, the logistics of that is actually kind of also bullshit. Um, like, how did Goku overpower quote unquote infinite gravity in the shape of a heart? Yeah, I'm kind of in a JoJo mood now. You've made me think about more about JoJo stands. I'm interested now in JoJo. So bring on the JoJo stands. Stands, not stands. I I I don't know if I can take the JoJo stands. D4C. What is D4C? D4C. Dirty deed done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds done dirt. Dirty deeds done dirt. I'm gonna just call this Dirty Dan. D4C or Dirty Dan for short for me. Okay. What is it me or do some stands just look very disturbing? It might just be the manga art, but like I don't know, it's just something unsettling about it. Like, damn you, Araki, why didn't you not just keep up with the whole horror stories that you, the whole horror story motif you had going on in part one? I genuinely wonder what that would look like now if he went back to doing a horror. Okay, back to Dirty Dan or D4C. Okay, among the most powerful stands in the series in its default form, close range stand with above average strength and speed, is able to punch a grown man away violently and rivals a transformed Diego in speed. Although it's still exploring its full potential, Valentine is adept and creative with its power. Travel between parallel worlds. Um, okay, starting off strong with this one. In reality, Stable Run, an uncounterable number of parallel worlds are assumed, each following the same basic chain of events. However, the Saints Corp exists in only one of these worlds, which is referred to as the base world. Through these parallel worlds would though these parallel worlds would never cross paths with the base world, Dirty Dan allows them to overlap and coexist in the same place and time. It also allows its users and anyone or anything its users desire to travel between these parallel worlds, preserving the force of their internal gravity to prevent them from being annihilated. In order to travel between parallel worlds, Valentine has indeed targeted it, or his intended target must be put between two objects in close proximity to each other. These objects can be any matter other than air, including liquids such as water and gases such as dust and steam. Only an infinitesimal part of the traveler must be put between two objects to allow the ability to activate. Valentine can also choose to only partially transport people or things between worlds, immobilizing them inside one of the surrounding objects. After being transported, the traveler can emerge from anywhere nearby, including from someone else's back. Valentine can also use this ability to avoid taking damage from projectiles by using it to partially transport himself between worlds. Properties of okay. Properties of parallel worlds. Notable natural law of parallel worlds is that only one iteration of any person or anything can exist in the same world at the same time. Thus, if Valentine pulls someone or something else into a parallel world, they'll begin to slowly be pulled towards their iteration of that world. Once two iterations of the same person or thing enter close proximity, portions of each in the form of Menger sponges will fly toward and collide with their alternate iterations, being completely annihilated without a trace. When the duplicate people or things themselves collide, They emerge as well and are eradicated completely, potentially damaging those in the immediate radius of the collision. The only way for the victims of Dirty Dan's ability to avoid destruction is by returning to the transported iteration of themselves to the original world, which can be accomplished simply by putting them between two objects once more. As a side effect of Dirty Dan's ability, Valentine is the sole exception to the above rule and may safely coexist and interact with as many iterations of himself as he pleases. This allows him to summon several iterations of himself in the same world to outnumber his opponents, conspire with his alternative selves, and even fake his own death by leaving corpses of his parallel selves in other worlds. Though these Valentines may possess similar stands in appearance and strength, Dirty Dan's is wholly exclusive to each iteration from the base world. In order to preserve this unique ability, if a funny Valentine is gravely injured, he is able to transfer ownership of it to another iteration of himself in the same world. The receiving Valentine retains their own consciousness, but requires both full use of Dirty Dan and the memory of its prior user. Uh, two iteration. Okay, the information below derives from Eyes of Heaven, which is not written and only supervised by Iraqi. As such, it may not be considered canon, but the two iterations of the same object or person may also coexist safely if they are from the same timeline. Therefore, the two Joseph Joestars, one from Part 2 and Part 3, featured in Eyes of Heaven, can safely interact with each other. Um, okay. Overlapping of parallel worlds. In its first proper demonstration, the range of Dirty Dan's power could be expanded beyond the two objects necessary for transport between worlds, as Valentine was able to overlap two separate parallel worlds with the base world. As a consequence of the ability's larger range, those unaffected by the stand's ability were able to see into different overlapping parallel worlds depending on their view angle. Okay. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So, technically speaking, you're right. Goku is fucked. I can only think of one specific, and I mean very specific, version of Goku that could technically, um, kind of cheat his way out of this. Um, and I'm thinking Xeno Goku. Okay, because the ability to, or maybe not even Xeno Goku, but like Time Patroller Goku. I think one of those Gokus that can like basically have the power to, or have the technology to move through um alternate universes, alternate timelines, and or alternate universes, one of the two. And that's the only way to, get around this. Otherwise, yes, Goku is fucked, and if he meets another version of himself. Um, the only way he can technically get out of it is if he just like went into a hyperbolic time chamber before he collided with himself. Because the hyperbolic time chamber is a different part of a is a different dimension in its entirety, and since we never really realized like the full potential of their dimension breaking abilities, technically speaking, Super Saiyan 3 could bait through the time chamber. Super Saiyan 3 has the power to break through the time chamber by opening a hole in the dimension that is the hyperbolic time chamber. Super Saiyan Blue has the power to break the time chamber, which is a whole other dimension, as shown by Vegeta twice in the Super anime. And then there's the whole Gogeta versus Broly fight, where they were powerful enough to literally break into a different dimension while fighting, and then continued fighting until Gogeta went Super Saiyan Blue and knocked both of them out of the dimension. So that is to say, and then okay, but that's canon. That is canon, and that's a very specific set of skills and or situations that would need to be required to avoid the cheap trick that is Dirty Dan's ability. Um Otherwise, the Time Patroller Goku could get away with moving around with Valentine and Dirty Dan because he has the technology and or the permission or whatever to move around alternate universes. But yeah, no, that's a very specific example of Goku winning. But in any other context, yes, he does not win. Does that make sense? Whew. Shit, that's a lot of talking. My voice. Ah. Ooh, my voice. I have not talked this much in a long time. It feels so good to talk it like this again. But yeah, that's that. Um, got any more busted JoJo characters that you want to talk about? Or okay, if it helps, I almost threw out my voice while playing through Final Fantasy 14 or 16 DLC. Are we already up to 16? Wow. Whew. 15 seems like like not that long ago. I don't know why, but I know it's been like nearly 6 years. Shit, right? It's it's been 6 years, right? Whew. Yeah, like any other. Uh, got any other JoJo villains or characters you want to pit up against Goku? Or any other characters in general? Okay, keeping on still a run stands. Civil War could give Goku a run for his money, assuming that he can assuming that he can't break illusions. Okay, what do you mean by breaking illusions? I wonder. What was the name? Civil War. Really? There's a stand named Civil War. Uh. Oh wow. What the? What? Okay. This proves my point. Araki needs to go back into horror. His stands are unsettling. Okay. Guilt materialization. Primary ability is to manifest objects or people a target has left behind, given up, or feels guilt towards. I don't think Goku has that. Goku has never left anyone behind, hasn't really given up on anyone, or feels guilty towards anyone. He had a hunt up against Frieza. Frieza came back, and now he doesn't feel like guilty against him, or he doesn't feel like he's left him behind. Um, shit. Cause like the Dragon Balls kind of fits that. If I'm gonna be honest, it, you get what I'm saying? Okay. Let me read the entirety of this. Civil War is a stand-up with esoteric powers, relies on controls or people's guilt to attack them. Otherwise, it doesn't show any combat capability of its own. Restrained to closed space of a garbage dump in which Axel Rowe ambushes the protagonist through Spectre's can pursuits targets outside of the building. Civil War itself can avoid attacks by breaking apart into several pieces, and is shown effectively to nullify gyro steel ball attacks. Okay, yeah, see, this is what I mean. Um, it relies on guilt. Goku doesn't have guilt. He doesn't really feel guilty for anything. Because he's never really done anything that's guilty. I mean, okay, destroying and technically killing all those people in the Red Ribbon Army might have done something, especially since the Red Ribbon Army came back technically via Dr. Gero. But he never really felt guilty about that. He did what he had to do. He protected everyone. He protected the world by proxy. Um, if Dragon Ball had consequences, then you would have a point. Then Goku technically would be kind of shit out of luck. But if I'm being honest, what was it? Hachiak. That was kind of the whole point of Hachiak. But it took the grief from the people that they killed and used it against them. Here, it's using the guilt and resentment from the opponent itself to go against the opponent. You get what I'm saying? Goku really can't. Goku would win just because he doesn't have any of these feelings. Otherwise, you might have a point. Goku is just that free willed and just that free in general in terms of responsibilities and whatnot that he wouldn't have any of these hangups. Um, yeah, like Dragon Ball fits everything to prevent any of this from happening. Because whenever someone dies, they can just bring them back. So, got anyone else? Pet sounds, unnamed stand, soft and wet, go beyond, and wonder of you. Okay, three. Three of them now. Uh, Pet sound stand. Abilities. Only used to record memories. Linked to soul and mind with pet sounds. Stand was able to utilize stored memories as a powerful long-range ability to target specific targets or large groups of people. Um, it repeats a sound or voice from its memory, forces victim to relive and reenact the events of that memory. Those under the stand's thrall gain a strange, dim-lit texture over their eyes. Stand also appears to make punch cards, enters its victim's body to replay the sound from the inside. Uh, the, Not only affects people who are present for the relived memories, when the Dio with the Emperor, but also affect people who are never present for the memory. A crashing car, Josuke reliving pet sounds, owner being murdered by Dio. Stands can also the stand's power can also extend to multiple people at a time. Several pastry chefs train at them. Diverge from the memory as it does when it stops mimicking Dio's voice. During Whole Horse's memory of him preparing to shoot Dio. Finger is still ready as a traitor. Memory when he never got the chance. Trap person uniquely interact with memories. Only limiting factor of the stand's ability is how far sound travels. If someone cannot hear the stand repeating the sound, they will not be able to force to relive the event. Closer pet sound is to the victim, however more realistic the memory being played will be. Victim can escape stands control by remembering a more vivid memory, such as Whole Horse remembering how he fled Cairo with Boingo while witnessing Kakuin's final Emerald Splash, or a stronger emotion such as Josuke breaking free after flying into rage. Another way to escape stands control is to cut blood flow to the brain in order to shock oneself back to reality, such as Josuke and Boingo experiencing when they choked themselves with a rope. Another weakness is that if pet sound cannot accurately reproduce a sound in its memory, the stand ability fails, such as when pet sound's beak is injured and its vocalizations are off key. After one breaks free from the illusions, the memory of their hallucinations fade away, suggested to be because memories from the past can't be kept in the present forever. For example, Josuke only remembers vague details from the illusions, such as that he was gambling, but the rest is unclear to him. Okay, so pet sounds stand would not be able to beat Goku simply because okay, first the memory of the sound has to be present in pet sound's mind. So basically pet sound has to be able to remember or be able to like have the knowledge of whatever sounds that were involved with any of Goku's fights, since this is just to reenact any event in his memories. Um, if Pet Sound wants to defeat Goku, what what was Pet Sound? What User. Okay, so this is Steel Ball Run. Or wait. What? Crazy Diamonds, Demonic Heartbreak. Okay, so don't really know when this or where this stands in terms of the whole major storyline, but um oh wait, right, the bird from part two, three, Pet Sound, uh, it's a bird. The stand itself can't attack, but it's a bird. The bird can't do anything against Joju. The stand itself, if it tries to recreate any of Goku's fights, um, Goku won't be able to hear it after a little bit if he moves once he starts to move fast enough. Because in most cases he can move faster than sound relatively easily, especially after um the events of Dragon Ball. Putting that out there first. Then it doesn't sound like the stand itself actually attacks. It's more so the bird attacks, from what I remember. And it's a bird. Goku, even when he's not really paying attention, can easily just have bullets bounce off of him. I don't think bird talons are going to do anything against him either. So that's Pet Sound. Um, I vaguely remember what Soft and Wet is, but I'm gonna save that for last and see what Wonder of You is. What is Wonder of You? Seriously, Araki, come on. Just do fucking horror. This is the most intimidating, like, person in the suit I've seen from Araki's work. Like, come on. Okay. Uh, Personality, abilities. Okay, abilities. Allows the user to lead a double life under the assumed identity of allowing him to act as their actor, taking human form, on which, unlike most stands, can be seen by non-stand users. Okay, long range illusion creation. Creates multiple versions of itself, which can be designated to specific targets. Normally take on the form of Tortoise assumed identity. Calamity manipulation. Uh, Wonder primary ability allows it to manipulate the natural law of calamity, which is a form of negative energy independent of stands. It's automatic and functions as a long range, making it extremely dangerous because there's little defense against it. One of you can be activated on any person who has looked at the stand's back while it's in human form. Target will experience horrible developments referred to as calamities. Some calamities will be a result of target's own behavior, leading to an unusually detrimental result. Like Mitsubi, Mitsuba, cutting your hand while preparing food, while others take the form of environmental factors that would normally be harmless, having an abnormally bad outcome, i.e., Josuke receiving near lethal wounds from the impact of raindrops, or a light bulb in Mamazuki's vicinity exploding. As a rule, wonder of you calamities always manifest themselves as some sort of harmful collision. Okay, you might have a point here. Once Wonder of You has locked onto a target, any attempt to pursue or otherwise harm Satoru Akifu, Akifu would result in the ability reactivating. The threshold for reactivation is extremely sensitive, as there's as the mere intent to confront the stance presumed user was enough for the ability to target and nearly kill Josuke. Uh, can attack any person who sees the back of its presumed user, regardless of whether or not they hold intent to pursue. Demonstrated by an individual who showed another prisoner in his holding cell a photograph of the stand's back, being mortally wounded. Objects and come in contact with Wonder You can be infused with calamity and trigger the ability when touched. Uh, however, despite Wonder View's seemingly unbeatable offense and defense capabilities, a possible weakness in defense is noted by Josuke following his initial defeat by the stand. By remaining completely idle and forcing the stand to confront him, Josuke was seemingly able to bypass the danger of the stand's ability, as no behavior or environmental factors were present that could be extrapolated into a calamity. Non-existent things would won't be affected by it, since it won't be seen as a pursuit. Uh, Kaito Higashida exposes another weakness in its ability through seemingly removing all thought to pursue mentally, and approaches Toru to begin her attack. Ultimately, Wonder of You is defeated by Soft and Wet's new ability Go Beyond, which doesn't exist in the world, therefore ignores all logic in it. The Calamity does not function against these bubbles, and Wonder of You is obliterated by them. Okay, so the main. Hmm. Okay, so there seems to be no range, like no limit to its range. There's no limit to its range. There's no really definitive way to power scale it other than just saying, oh, once this ability activates, you literally become a glass cannon where you could attack and you could technically hit, but before you hit, there's a vast possibility that anything that hits you in the interim could kill you. And even if you technically did kill the user, the calamity still follows for a time. But that time is never stated. Hmm. But the weakness is that if there's no. If you don't pursue, but he does. The user comes towards you, you're fine. Um. But also, if you don't really think about pursuing the user of the stand, or even you don't just like really attack with thought, you are fine. So, I mean, technically think, no, in all technicality, I think Ultra Instinct, mastered Ultra Instinct, completely void of um any thought except just attack. Like not even pursue to attack or trying to attack to kill, but just the act of attack and no other thought beside it would technically net Goku the win just by semantics alone. Just by the semantics of what this wiki stated as its weakness. But I feel like that might be a stretch. So, in any other case, long range attack will easily do him in because this doesn't really say anything about defensive capabilities. Wait, no. So unbeatable offensive and defensive capabilities. Wait, so what did I skip a part? Alright, I skipped a whole paragraph. Strong correlation between the size of an object and how immediate and severe an object injury will be. Piercing his palm, to lighting an umbrella, stand ledge. Atomic killer who taught it last long back. Agitates not eating food. Further trained by flow. Seeing that there's a flow of things that always result in calamities. Which is okay. It doesn't seem like this really has any defensive capabilities. Goku could technically launch a long range attack, so a simple ki blast, from a distance, or a Kamehameha wave, or whatever, from a distance, and while Calamity would technically activate, he could still win before he dies. And with Ultra Instinct, he could try to wait out the Calamity wearing off by just dodging literally anything that tries to touch him, but that's only if he can, you know, conclude that he instantly became a glass cannon because of the stand. So, like, I mean, in all intents and purposes, if Goku doesn't know anything about the stand, he will die if he tries to attack head on. The only way he could potentially survive a head on attack is if he had mastered Ultra Instinct, which technically bypasses the quote unquote intent to kill requirement that needs to have the stand to activate, because he's not really thinking about killing, he's just thinking about attacking, thinking about punching. He's not pursuing, or he's not doing anything nefarious, he's just acting purely on instinct. He's essentially become an animal at that point that can punch well. Other than that, without Ultra Instinct, if Goku attacked long range, he could win. Because, like, just sounds like anything that Goku does to actually hit him would result in instant death, because strength gap, and there's no actual defense to this. It just, things will essentially kill you if you try to do anything to him, and if you move fast enough to get out of the way, you will survive. So there's that explanation. Otherwise, yes, Goku does not stand a chance if he didn't know anything about it and he, um, let's say, just got hit with a flying knife out of nowhere. He would just die because that knife would just go straight through him. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, he'd just go straight through his heart. He would die. He would die because he just didn't know that because of magic, he became the literal softest thing in the universe. Okay. And then soft and wet. Okay, I think this is gonna be the last JoJo thing I'm gonna do. And I'm just probably gonna move on to another topic. Because while I'm having fun here, I kind of want to also talk about something else. Okay. Um. Whew. So much fun talking. For once. Okay. Enhanced strength. Can break apartment walls with a single kit and bat kick. Rapid hand-to-hand compatibility. Damage it can inflict is limited. However, it is unable to break through rock. Okay, soft would go beyond. That's what you wanted specifically to talk about. Let's see here. Soap bubbles are infinitesimally small, thin lines that spin rapidly. It drives us as spin. Upon learning the actual mechanic behind this Sand's ability, Joesty gains a new power, which he dubs Soft and Wet Go Beyond. Rapidly spinning bubbles used to create. This technique extends from Josuke's birthmark, being uncontrollable and impossible to aim without assistance. So bubbles with explosive bubbles of Kira's Killer Queen give Josuke the ability to generate invisible bubbles, which utilize an explosive spin, move at extremely high speeds, combined with a near infinite thinness of soft and wet lines, infinitely close to zero, gives Go Beyond properties that transcend the limit of ordinary physics. According to Mamik Zuku, the bubbles it produces do not exist in this world. Okay, I'm assuming it just means that the bubbles just barely are visible to anything, just because they're so small that it's like being hit with an atom at extremely high speeds. You will basically die because you will just be hit with atoms. You're getting hit with atoms so hard, so fast that you cannot dodge them. You can't. Well, you can probably dodge them. You can't block them because you have to block at the atomic level. Later shown that. Wait, this first note on Mizuku when an invisible bubble manages to pass through his clothes without damaging them. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's on the atomic level. It's so small that you wouldn't notice it if it was just inanimate objects. But if you were you, and you are made up with a lot of loose atoms, um, you will it will do a lot of damage because all those loose atoms will just go flying out of you. Uh, entering state by entering Paisley Park's domain. Albeit with yes, it was is not subject to the laws of calamity. Jobion's bubbles are theoretically non-existent, so their movement toward one view isn't, or its user is not seen as an act of pursuit. Okay, so my theory about Key Blast actually isn't um without merit. Okay. Due to the extreme speed at which Gobion's bubbles spin, they can be used as projectiles to devastating effect. Upon materializing, Gobion can instantly erode whatever part of its body it touches. In addition to this, Gobion's bubbles are capable of bursting with an extreme amount of force. For example, direct hit on Toru was able to launch him great distance into the air. Um, Though Josuke is incapable of precisely controlling or aiming one of Jobion's bubbles after it's created, external forces such as Yasuo Hirose's Paley Park can guide the bubble to its intended destination, and Josuke can roughly aim the bubble by striking it with soft and wet itself. Uh, Pre-equivalent exchange? Control of soft and wet. Its ability of plunder was described as absorption. As a standard user, Josephine was experienced enough to utilize his ability with extreme levels of precision. For example, Josephine was able to use soft and wet precisely enough to seamlessly draft a loose branch onto a different object or different plant. Something which he and Yoshikage Kira attempted to use for the cultivation of Lakura. Josephine was also shown using his soap bubbles to remove excess amount of black pepper from his bowl of ramen. Josephine's bubbles were featureless and released almost no force when they popped. Curiously enough, although Josuke himself was ultimately created due to the equivalent exchange of wall eyes, Soft and Wet gained its star marking and slight explosive power, while Josephine was still alive and in control of it. Right after his healing exchange with Kira through the unripe new Lakrakura. Okay, that is to say, hmm. So Goku versus Adam being launched at high speeds. Uh, hmm. I I'm trying to make a case on both sides. Um, hmm. And this is why I love Araki. Araki made so many power sets out of nowhere that just sounds absurd, but they work in their own context. I love it, but also they're just too crazy sometimes. Uh, let's see. Where do I begin here? What does extreme speed constitute as, though? They're small. I get they're small. They're basically atom size. Um, as the atom is the smallest unit of measurement in the observable universe. Uh, and if it barely exists in this world, that means it's just really small. That most likely just refers to it being really small. Um, hmm. I mean, Ultra Instinct would have to be heavily used here with Master UI being used in its entirety to stand a chance. Um, then it's just a matter of like if Goku can actually perceive the um bubbles or not, because apparently these bubbles can't be properly aimed. Goku is very fast himself. Um, he, uh, who's the owner of this stand again? Josuke. Okay. Josuke would have to very precisely aim soft and wet in such an extent that he can predict Goku's movements. I don't think Goku could survive these kinds of attacks, but that's only if Josuke can actually like hit him. Soft and wet is not that fast. The bubbles are. The bubbles are definitely fast. He can't even aim those properly though. He can definitely shoot them out as fast as they are, and they will definitely kill, or at the very least, very severely maim Goku. There's no doubt in my mind for that. My doubt is that can they actually hit Goku when he's going as fast as he is? That's kind of the crux here. So, like, can they kill Goku? Can Soft and Wet have the capability to kill Goku? Yes, I do not deny that. He will die if he is hit with enough bubbles, or if he is hit precisely enough to be killed, or if Soft and Wet can track Goku's movements fast enough and then hit him with precision. But that's the crux of this whole argument with Soft and Wet versus Goku. Soft and Wet cannot aim properly without assistance. And in this 1v1, um, Goku would be moving too fast to be hit. Even if Soft and Wet was able to just do an all-out attack, like just wide area, carpet bombed everything. Oh, you would have to do a whole layer at the same time. But I assume that he wouldn't be able to form more than like one bubble at a time. But, so yeah, unfortunately, Goku wins here, and then also just no defensive capability that can protect them from Goku's punches. Because I don't think it said anything about how dense these bubbles were. It just said that they can move fast enough at the size of an atom to basically just rip through anything. So yeah, no, Goku wins. Goku wins this one. Damn. Whew. Launch our promotion for your channel viewers. But yeah, that's kind of it. Uh, and see, that's kind of what I mean. It it seems like what was it? Not Civil War. Dirty Dan. So far, from what I can tell, is contextually by what the JoJo Wiki is telling me about the abilities. Dirty Dan D4C is the only one so far that I have seen that can effectively kill Goku just because Goku can't um withstand a collision with himself. That would basically be matter interacting with antimatter and destroying himself by touching himself. That sounded wrong out of context, but you know what I mean. Whew. That was that was an experience. I haven't had debates like that in a while. Whew. Oh man. Hmm. What else? 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 Hmm. What can I talk about? What else could I talk about? Oh, huh. I mean, does anyone else have Epic Games? Because, whew, I love them for all the free games I've been getting ever since 2020. But I have not been able to play a single one. Does anyone else have that problem? There's a whew, whew. I have I don't even know how many. Just give me a sec. Trying to log into my Epic Games Store account. How many games do I have in my Epic Games Store? Alright. It looks like I have. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. 331 games that I have not bought, but I have gotten for free ever since 2020 when the um the not unmentionable, like, but the unforgiving times began when people started hoarding cleaning supplies and um basic necessities to make a profit and all that. I don't know. But yeah, like ever since Epic Games Store started giving out games for free on a weekly basis, I I went to town. I got everything that they had for free. I got Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, Borderlands the pre-sequel. For some reason I didn't get Borderlands because they never put it out. I got BioShock Remastered, BioShock 2 Remastered, BioShock Infinite the Complete Edition. Um, I got Amnesia, The Dark Descent, Amnesia, um, A Machine for Pigs, Amnesia Rebirth, Alien Isolation, um, 20XX, Game of Thrones the board game, 9/11 Operator, Air Memories, I got a lot of things. Way too many things that I would love to play on for streams. I got Cave Story, bro. That's I got Cave Story Plus. I got Cave Story Secret Santa. Secret Santa. Control, City of Brass, Cook and Serve, Delicious 3. What else? Death Stranding. Heard a lot about that back when it first came out. Destiny 2, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Doki Doki Literature Club. Plus, I already played the original. I played it back when it first came out. I was I was traumatized because I was just a wee babu experiencing the game the first time. I to say that I was not affected by that game at any point in time was a blatant lie. I got Doom 64. I got what else? Uh, I got Fall Guys. I got Fallout 2. I got Fallout 3. I got Fallout Tactics. I got Fallout a post-apocalyptic something. I can't read it all without clicking on it. I got Fallout New Vegas with all the DLC. I think. I got Fortnite. I got Frostpunk. I got Galactic Civilization. Galactic Civ, you guys. What else? What else? What else? What else? I got GTA 5. Um, I got Hitman. I got Hitman 3. For some reason, I don't have 2. In Factory. Just Cause 4. Jurassic World. Evolution. Killing Floor 2. Lawnmower Simulator. Magic the Gathering. Metro Last Light Redux. Uh, Moving Out, Mortal Shell, uh, NBA 2K21, Neo, Overcooked 2, Overcooked 1, Payday 2, PC Building Simulator, uh, Prison Architect, Rage 2, Recipe for Disaster, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Uh, what else? And okay, a lot more. You get the gist. I have a lot of games, and I didn't even name all of them in the I was going down alphabetical order, but I wasn't naming literally everything. I was just naming things that seemed uh good. Um, but I guess I'll be playing them at a later date when I have the ability to. Oh, oh man, I'm getting tired. I have the ability to actually play them while on the go because I'm not saving any of these to my local storage. I'm beyond that now. I've transcended and got myself a portable NAS solution, a portable network attached storage solution. But yeah. Um, as far as first streams go, I feel like this was okay. Yeah, this was fun. This was really fun. I hope that more you guys join in again. Tune in to see more of whatever this is until I can get an actual um schedule structure going on for like what blocks of time I want to talk about what. But yeah, until then, this is Hiroku Scion signing out. Hope you guys have a good evening, good day, or good morning, or good night. Bye.